Welcome to the Influence FM training for the client list under Connect here. When you first log into Influence FM, this is the first place it will bring you, and you can notice this is my customer list here. I'm under Connect and Customer List. Everything we'll be going over will be Connect, Customer List, Calendar, Open Prospects, and we may get in the agency and pending actions. Now, if you're a sales rep, you don't need to worry about the agency list or pending actions. This is really a management feature here. So, as all you're going to see as a sales rep is your customer list, your calendar, and open prospects. So, and these are all under Connect. And if I close this toggle and open the toggle, you can see here with this blue chevron here that I'm on my customer list. Okay, and it tells me I have 168 customers. So it's pretty straightforward. You have the name of your customer and their contact info. And down here you notice this one has a bit more info on it. We have our Facebook page and their website and their email. Obviously that's not their website, so that was a mistake by the rep. But to edit these details, we just need to click on the name of the customer. And we can open these up. These are called toggles, and edit any information that we need here. We even have their web address down there. Again, that was just a test, so don't worry about the Google address. We can add a second contact too, and it will add another set of drop downs for us here, or these toggles I should say. So if we click on add another contact, it allows you to add multiple customers to a contact. That way if you have a big company you're working with, have multiple managers, you can put them both in there. Now we also have some other drop downs here, social media. I keep calling them drop downs. I'm sorry, these are actually called toggles. And you can put some other information in there. This should rarely be used, these notes here on the other information. Really that's, I'm going to show you a better way to use that, put other information on your client, and we call that sticky notes, and I'll show you that in a minute. Now we have the name of the customer, that's the name of their business, and again in the toggle is where the actual person information goes. Over here, right now this is on miscellaneous. You should try to find the category of business that it's actually related to, as our system integrates with a lot of different Google products, and it will pay off in the future. You don't have to do it right away, but I'm going to see if there's a cleaning. And I just started to type C and L, and it came to C and L automatically, and I'm not seeing anything under cleaning. Maybe custodian. This is a very long list, and the reason we choose all these categories is because they actually relate to Google's categories. So for now I'm just going to leave it on miscellaneous. I'm sure there's something underneath here that would fit cleaning service, but for now we're just going to leave it on miscellaneous. Okay, then you want to just make sure you hit save. Okay, and then also you can say if this is an agency account. Now your manager will have had to add your agency list to the agency list, agencies to the agency list, so you can then say, okay, yes, this is an agency, and then you can be like, okay, it's part of Edge Media Agency. You would select that and then just make sure you hit save. Okay, you notice when I did that, it added the agency information there, but it's not, so I'm going to make sure I hit save changes on that. So again, edit a customer, just click on the name there. Now to add a new customer, you click on new up here and then click on new customer, and then you put in the business name, select the product type, put in the customer information. You don't have to put it all in, and just hit save changes. Now before you go and add a new customer, I recommend that you search and see if it's already in the system. So I clicked in the search bar up there. I'm going to click Anderson, and you'll notice it did default to customers for what it's going to search. This helps speed up the database, so if we don't need to search for contracts, we're not going to select contracts, so we'll keep that unselected. But it did default to the customer list because we are on the customer list. If we were in SmartRate, in the SmartRate system, which you'll learn about later, then it would default to the contracts. But just so you know, it defaults to customers. We can select them all if we need to. I'm just going to click the search button here, and it's going to search for the word Anderson for all the customers. It doesn't matter if they're mine or somebody else's. Now it will tell me, first of all, it highlights the word Anderson, and it tells me who owns it. It says Dominic owns that, and I'm logged in as Dominic right now, so I can go ahead and do whatever I want with this client. New appointment, edit, whatever I want. And we'll go over these details in a minute here. Now if it's owned by the prospect list, so say I wanted to claim a customer or add a customer to the system. So again, before creating a new customer, see if it's already in the system. So let's pretend I was looking for Anderson Law Office Group, and yes, I do want that client, and it's owned by the prospect list, so I can claim it. So I'm going to click on Action, and then we have Claim from Prospect List as an option. So that's how we claim a customer from the system. I always recommend searching the system first to make sure that the customer is not already in the system. Don't go creating a new customer. But we do have a fail-safe in here. We click on New Customer, and I start to type in the words Anderson. The system starts to search the database automatically for me. And there's Anderson Law Office. Yeah, how did it know I wanted that? Click on it. It says this customer already exists in the system. Are you sure you want to create another? It allows you to create duplicates, but more than likely you won't want to. So what you'd want to do is go ahead and search Anderson Law Office Group up in the search bar here and claim them like I just showed you. Do your search, come down the action button, and hit Claim from Prospect List. Okay, let's go back to Connect. I'm going to go back to our customer list, and we're going to go over some more details here. On the details column, we have next appointment, the last time that client was seen, and the status of that client, how long they've been off the air for, or when their contract ends, or they could be a prospect. Let's see if I can find one here. Here, a prospect. So they've never had a contract in the system. This is all updated automatically. Well, really all of this is taken from the calendar, next appointment, the last appointment, and the status of this client, how long, when their contract ends, or how long they've been off the air for, is taken from our Smart Rate system. And again, you'll learn about that in the future. That allows you to create really great complex contracts very quickly. The math is always perfect, so you don't have to fight with the traffic department anymore. But we can go ahead and edit these. So if you're a new user to Influence FM, you probably have some clients that are on the air, because all yours are going to say, since you're new, they're going to say prospect, because Influence FM doesn't know what clients you've had on the air and which ones you haven't. So we can actually edit this, and we can actually edit the total over here too. We have some numbers of how much that client's projected to spend with you, how much they spent with you last month, last year, and the grand total lifetime value of that customer. So we can edit the total, and we can edit the prospect, or when their contract ends, I should say. So I'm going to click on this, and it defaults to 1950. I'm not sure why, so I'm going to go ahead and type in 2018, and it brings me to 2018. I can say, okay, their contract ends on April 24th. And what's nice about this, it'll actually email you before that contract ends. It'll email you 2 weeks before that contract ends, and if you don't get a new contract in the system, it'll email you 1 week before that contract ends. That way, hopefully, we don't get any contracts that lapse. Now, down on the bottom here, we have the current. It says how much they're currently projected to spend with you last month, last year. So you don't need to worry about that until you start using Smart Rate. But maybe you want to put the total in, how much that client has spent with you in the past. And a lot of times you can go to your traffic director and go, hey, how much has so-and-so spent with us in the past? And they can give you a total on that. And so let's say it's $42,343. $34, sorry, $343. And then just hit Save. And then it would update those columns. It would update this to the date we put in, and it'll update the total down here. So I'm going to go over the ratings column real quick. This rating system is arbitrary. The ratings where you're seeing here where the letter grades are. This is a way for you to categorize your businesses, and you can use it however you want. As an example, maybe give the people that pay on time an A, the people that don't pay on time an F. You can use this however you want, and you can use these letters to represent anything you want. And once you've done that, you then can filter your list by that rating type. So if I go, okay, I only want to see my Fs, I can click on the blue filter here. Now don't forget this is here. A lot of people miss this. Click on the filter, and then I can search by whether they're on air or not, whether there's a CNA done or not, a future appointment set or not for a client, city, state, zip code, ratings. So if I only want to see my Fs, I click on F, and it would show me my clients that I've given a rating of F. And I can also search by product category type, as long as I've given a product category type to that business, as long as it's not miscellaneous. And then once we get that set, we'd hit Submit Selection. It then would filter our list accordingly. Okay, next we have our Actions column. So the action button is the go-to button when you want to do any one thing to any one element in Influence FM. So if you're looking to do something in Influence FM, more than likely it's in the action button. Okay, so let's go over what's in the action button on our customer list. The action button is going to be different for what's in the menu here on SmartRate, the production order system, and so on. And as we do more and more trainings, we'll show you some of that. So from here, you can do a new appointment. So really important, especially for new sales reps. When you first start using Influence FM, I recommend that you go to your customer list to create new appointments. Not your calendar. You can create new appointments from your calendar, but when you're new to the system, is what I recommend is going through your customer list and creating new appointments for all your customers. And just put something in there. It may be a guesstimation. It may be an exact date. It doesn't matter as long as you're just putting in the calendar. The whole philosophy behind Influence FM is that you always have a future appointment. And in radio sales, we know that it's important to always have some kind of follow-up. Get copy calls, sell them some more stuff, stop in and say hi. Whatever it is, you're always wanting to service your clients in radio. So from here, I'm going to do a new appointment. Okay, and up here, you don't need to worry about this too much. But you put in the date, obviously, when you want to see that client. You put in the time, the duration, the appointment type, in-person, call, to-do, reminder, or email. Priority, is it high, medium, or low? If it's high, it's going to put an exclamation point on your appointment on the calendar. Okay, but if it's a closing call, I would say it is high. And then what's it concerning? Now these concerning types, you guys may want to take note of this, are customizable by your managers. These are the defaults that are in the system, and they can be changed, edited, or added to. But for the most part, since we are a radio station, our software division is actually in a radio station. We've been doing this for 17 years, and we have 7 stations. We probably have more than what you need in here. But let's just say for now it's, let's see here, social call. Put in a description of what I'm doing, short description, and then hit Save Changes. Obviously that's nonsense, but you type something real in there, and you get Save Changes. Now you just put an appointment on your calendar. We also got some reminders that you can set, so if you want to be notified 30 minutes before, 15 minutes before, so I clicked on Add Reminder, I can change that to 15 minutes, 45 minutes, hours, days, whatever number you want and whatever duration. And then you can also invite people to your appointments. This is nice, especially if you want to invite your manager along with you, and you go, okay, I need some help on this closing call, so I want to invite Scott, my manager. So just start typing their name, then they'll show up there. You click yep, hit Save Changes. That then will email Scott, and it will put it on his calendar that you want him to go on that closing call with you. So a really easy way to add new appointments. So again, I want to be really clear about this. Oh, looks like my mouse is running out of batteries. Is that you do your first appointments when you first get into Influence FM through the client list. Just go through and do them all. And then on your calendar, I'm going to show you how to add new appointments from your calendar. And really, once you get appointments in there, you don't really add new appointments. Is what you do, and I'm going to show you this on the calendar, is that you complete your current appointments. So you go to your appointment on the calendar, open it up, say what happened, and you schedule your next appointment at the same time. And again, I'm going to show you that on the calendar video. Now we have view or edit the customer details. That's the same as the first thing I showed you, editing the customer details. Clicking on this over here, same thing. It allows you to add names, phone numbers, and whatnot. View history. So probably the most important part of a CRM, a customer relationship management tool, and that's what Connect is here. You know who said what when and how long ago and what happened. So here's all your history. So instead of having to go to your calendar and try and see what you did for someone last summer or last winter, it's all right there for you. So this is all taken from the calendar. Now there is a feature which I don't recommend using unless there's really only one reason you should use this feature. Add a note to the history. Everything is taken from the calendar unless you need to add a note to the history because you didn't expect to see that client. For example, you went to a barbecue. You weren't expecting to see one of your clients, but you ran into him and you talked about some business. Then you probably want to use the add note to history. Add your note in there, and then hit Save Changes. It then will add it on the current date that you're on. View future appointments, so you can view all your future appointments that are set for that client. So you don't have to go digging through the calendar, see all the next time you're going to see them. You also can view all the CNAs that have been done for that client. When you book a CNA in Influence FM and you go to complete that appointment in the calendar, you open it up, the questions to your company's CNAs will be in there, and it'll have you fill out those questionnaires. And so that will show you all the past CNAs that you've done. Let me try and find an example here. And how I know if there's been a CNA done is that they have a little speech bubble on them. And if I hover over that speech bubble, it means a CNA has been done for that client at one point in time. So I click on Action, click on CNAs, and I can see all the past CNAs, and I can click on View and Edit and look at those CNAs from the past. Next we have View Demographics. So you input this in manually. View Demographics here allows you to put in what your customer's clientele is like. So it's not your customer, it's your customer's clientele. So gender, hours of operation, the age, the income, education, and so on. And a lot of this information you can get from Google, or you can simply ask your customer about some of that stuff. You can also print off your customer's details. You can also print your entire list as well, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a little bit here. Now you can also get rid of customers. So let's say this client's just not going to buy from you. They're never going to buy from you. You want to get them off your list. You click Send to Open Prospect List. Transfer customers is a management feature, so only managers will see this. This allows them to transfer and move customers around the system. Add sticky note. If you recall, when I had the customer open, there was this other info page. That's something that's been there for a long time, but I feel that we've created a better feature for this. Add sticky note. So this is intended for things that you need to really stick out about the client. Every time you log in, you want to be reminded of that important information about that client. For instance, maybe one of your clients hates the Green Bay Packers. So you'd put in there, hey, don't bring up the Green Bay Packers. So I'm going to say, don't bring up Green Bay. So I can hit save on this. I also have the option to have these notes expired. Is what that does. It takes it off your client list after a certain date. So maybe it's really important, but you don't need to know about it forever. So you put an expiration date on that. So on the 16th, that's going to come down automatically. So I'm going to hit save note. I'm just going to put this till tomorrow. Oh, no, that's Friday. Let's see here. February, January. Let's go to Wednesday. We'll hit save note. So now that's going to add a red note to my client here. Or sorry, it's yellow. I'm logged in as myself, so it shows up in yellow. Now, if you ever see one that's in red, that means a manager added that sticky note. And you'll get an email too when a manager adds a sticky note. But you can see here that Dominic, that's who I'm logged in as, on this date said, don't bring up the Green Bay. Okay, and you can edit and delete your sticky notes as well. And you can add as many as you want. So maybe you want to put this one down and you want to add another one. Just click on Action and add another sticky note. Next we have Create Presentation. Again, this is kind of a different part of the system, so we're not going to go over this on this training, but what's nice about this, you guys can create really beautiful presentations with just a few clicks. You can put your contracts in there where they collect electronic signatures. You can put the spec spot ads in there, and these presentations look great on all devices, so they'll look really good no matter what size the device is that you send who you send this presentation to. Next we have protected or seasonal accounts. You probably noticed these green icons before each client, and there's a few different ones. For instance, this one means there has been a CNA done. This one means that it's a protected account. The little shield there. Protected or seasonal accounts, when you click on this, it'll ask you why you're making it a seasonal or a protected account, and that's exactly what it is. A seasonal account would be like your local jet ski rental business that's only open part of the year. So you'd want to say, hey, this person's only open part of the year, so let's I'm going to schedule my next appointment for a year from now. That way the system won't nag you for not going and seeing that client on a regular basis, because our system has a nag feature built in to where it'll nudge you and say, hey, you haven't seen this client in 60 days, because as we know, that's how we can lose clients by once we start juggling 168 clients like we see over here, it's easy to have stuff fall through the cracks. So the system really tries to help you along and say, hey, make sure you're seeing these clients. So you put in the reason, hit request, and then your manager will decide whether they want to allow that or not. And then it puts a little shield there. Last option here is to view add files. So this allows you to view view slash add files. So it allows you to view all the files for that client. This was a bad example because there's none under there. Let me try and find some that actually have some files uploaded. There we go. So it allows you to view all the files that have been uploaded for that client, and you can download them, and you can upload more files if you want. This could be signed contracts, and it could be audio file, it could be a video file, it could be a logo, it could be anything that's related to that client. And as long as you upload it to the system here, it will always be there attached to that client. So if you lose one of your laptops, you lose a phone, or you have a hard drive that goes bad in one of your computers, you don't have to worry about it because you uploaded it to the Influence FM cloud, which can be accessed from around the world. So your files are never lost. Now, in order for this to work, hopefully we will have done our part at Influence FM and got your Google Drive or your Dropbox account hooked up to make sure this works. So if you don't see this option, it's not working for you, it's because the Google Drive or Dropbox account hasn't been connected for your company. And you can contact us right down here and let us know what's going on, and we'll get it all straightened out. So the Get Help Here button, just so you know, we answer this in under 10 seconds. We take a lot of pride in this, but you can call us too. And we're here from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. Arizona time. Okay. All right. So that's the last thing on the action button here. Again, the action button is your go-to button on really anything you want to do in the system. Now, as we get into the system more and you start using SmartRay in production, these other two buttons will make more sense. But for now, we're going to kind of ignore them. But basically is what this does. If I click on contracts, it's going to bring me to all my contracts that I've done for 14th and Bloom. I click on production orders, it's going to bring me to all my production orders. Without having to go over to the production order system, click on production orders, sort by my customer. It's just kind of a shortcut to those things. Now you can also sort your client list by alphabet here. Okay. Now the last thing I want to go over is this bulk actions here. And that's exactly what that is. So when we want to do more than one thing to one client, for instance, print my entire list. So if I want to print my entire customer list, and this is probably the #1 question we get asked, how do I print my entire list? So really important, a few things you're going to want to take note on. The first thing, you're going to want to scroll to the bottom of the page. You're going to want to say customers per page and set that to all. It only loads 10 at a time, and that's for loading speed purposes. So make sure you set that to all. Once you've got that set to all and it loads all your customers, we can click this little button here and it brings us right back up to the top. And then I can select all my customers, and I can go to print or print simple. Now the print, it prints all the customers' details, but if you just want a simplified list where it's just the name of the customer, their email, and their phone number, you can do that. So if we go to print, I'm going to hit apply here. So I want to print, I'm going to hit apply. Yes, I want to print my list. Now when you go to do this the first time, please be sure that your pop-ups aren't being blocked. They will be. In fact, when you hit apply here, in the top right hand corner of Chrome, it's going to say allow pop-ups from Influence FM. You're going to click that and say yes, allow pop-ups. And once you've done that one time, you won't have to do that again in our system. You just need to tell your browser that it's okay to get pop-ups from Influence FM. Now, you notice I said Chrome. We highly recommend everybody use Chrome. Internet Explorer is not supported. It's not even supported by Microsoft anymore. And in fact, it's a dangerous browser to use. So try to get away from Internet Explorer. Firefox also works in our system as well, but we recommend Chrome because it just seems to be the faster system and work really well. I'm ready to print. I click apply, and then it's building my list for me, and once it's built, I can go ahead and print it. So, there we go. Okay. So there's my customer list. I now can print this in a couple different fashions. If I click on the old school purple floppy disk here, I have some different options. XML, CSV, PDF, MHTML, Excel, TIFF, or Word doc. I recommend just using a PDF unless you're doing something with programmers where you got to import the data to somewhere else. For the most part, use your PDF and then you can print it from that PDF. Now there's some more options in bulk actions. After the print options, we have email. So you can email all your customers at once. And just to be clear, you don't have to have them all selected. Maybe I just want to email or print or whatever to these two people here. Then I can email them. I can protect or make those accounts seasonal if I want. I can also merge customers together. Now the only time you want to use merge really is when you do a search and you notice there is a duplicate in the system. Then you may want to use merge. Merge is really rarely used, so you won't need to worry about it all that much. Now you can also get rid of a bunch of customers at once. So maybe it's you go through your list and you go, geez, I got 310 clients. I'm never going to see that many people, so I'm going to clean up my list. You can go through and select them and go, okay, I don't want to see this one, don't want to see this one, and this one. Select them all, and you can get rid of them all at once. Send them to the prospect list, give someone else a stab at it. Again, only managers see transfer customers, so you won't need to worry about that. And then we have send to trash. This should be very rarely used. The only time you should ever use this is when a customer goes out of business. Okay? And at that point, then go ahead and send it to the trash. Do know that nothing gets deleted. It just gets sent to the trash can. It basically makes it to where it's not on anybody's list. It's not on the open prospect list. It's kind of out of the system, but we can retrieve it if you need us to. Just click on the Get Help down here, and we will help you find it. So that's it on the customer list. We're going to move on to the calendar now. Now, if you guys have any troubles at all, please don't hesitate to get a hold of us. We have the Get Help Here button. Our phone number's at the top, or you can chat with us, and we take a lot of pride in this. We answer this under 10 seconds guaranteed, and we can typically work through your problems in a couple of minutes. All right, we'll see you at the calendar video.